Tonight, we are witnessing what may be one of the most decisive moments in Iran's modern history. Over the last several hours, a rapid series of developments suggests that the Islamic Republic is losing control at a scale we have not seen before. Protests have escalated, security forces appear stretched beyond capacity, and multiple cities are now reportedly slipping out of the regime's effective control. We will go through all these new developing stories right now, so if you are new, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we do provide global events here on a daily basis. According to reports coming in overnight, security forces have been pushed back in several major urban centers, including Tehran. If these reports continue to hold, this represents a critical turning point. Tehran is not just the capital, it is the administrative, political, and symbolic heart of the regime. Losing control there would fundamentally undermine the Islamic Republic's ability to govern. This is precisely why Iran's supreme leader has reportedly placed the security services on their highest level of alert, even higher than during recent military confrontations abroad.
همیهنان عزیزم، شما با شجاعت و ایستادگی خود تحسین جهانیان را برانگیخته اید. حضور دگرباره و پرشکوهتان در خیابان‌های سراسر ایران در شامگاه جمعه پاسخی دندان شکن به تهدیدهای رهبر خائن و جنایتکار جمهوری اسلامی بود. یقین دارم که او این تصاویر را از مخفیگاهش دیده و از وحشت لرزیده است. اکنون با پاسخ قاطع شما به نخستین فراخوان یقین دارم که ما با هدفمندتر کردن حضور خیابانی و همزمان قطع شریان‌های مالی، جمهوری اسلامی و دستگاه فرسوده و شکننده سرکوبش را کاملا به زانو در خواهیم آورد. در همین راستا از کارگران و کارکنان بخش‌های کلیدی اقتصاد به ویژه حمل و نقل و نفت و گاز و انرژی دعوت می‌کنم روند اعتصاب سراسری را آغاز کنند. همچنین از همه شما می‌خواهم امروز و فردا شنبه و یکشنبه 20 و 21 دی ماه این بار از ساعت 6 بعد از ظهر با پرچم، تصاویر و نمادهای ملی به خیابان‌ها بیایید و فضاهای عمومی را از آن خود کنید.
The Revolutionary Guard has been ordered to take a leading role in suppressing the uprising. This decision reflects a deep fear within the leadership, the possibility that regular police and army units may refuse orders or defect. In recent days, videos have circulated showing police officers standing aside, clapping, or even signaling support for protesters. This matters because it is much harder for local police to use lethal force against people who are their neighbours, friends, or even family members. The regime understands this, which is why it is leaning heavily on the IRGC, a force that is ideologically hardened and less connected to local communities. Despite the escalation, protests are not shrinking. They are growing. Over the last 2 days, the government imposed a near-total internet shutdown and issued increasingly severe threats, including warnings of capital punishment for those protesting. Still, videos continue to emerge from Tehran, Esfahan, Shiraz, Mashhad, Qom, and many other cities. Crowds are becoming larger, not smaller. At the same time, reports indicate that senior regime officials and their families are attempting to leave the country. Multiple sources suggest that relatives of high-ranking officials and members of the Revolutionary Guard have been applying for visas and boarding flights out of Iran. Some have reportedly been spotted in Moscow, while other government aircraft have departed the country heading south.
میدون قدس رفته.
وایسا میفهمه چی میخواد.
Historically, this kind of movement signals a loss of confidence within the ruling elite. Inside Iran, the situation on the streets is becoming increasingly intense. In several areas of Tehran, particularly in the northern districts, residents describe conditions as resembling a war zone. Protesters are blocking roads, confronting security forces, and refusing to disperse. In other cities, highways have reportedly been taken over, making it difficult for security units to move quickly or reinforce each other. This is creating a serious logistical problem for the regime. The protests have reached a scale where the security forces simply cannot be everywhere at once. Even with violence, arrests, and intimidation, the system is hitting its limits. One of the most significant factors enabling this moment is communication. Although the regime has shut down much of the internet and phone networks, satellite connections have allowed information to continue flowing. This is why footage is still reaching the outside world, showing crowds chanting, confronting armed units, and, in some cases, actively resisting.
The only source of information now, the internet and telephones, have been cut. And the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, well, he issued a call to arms. The protesters are mercenaries, in league with Donald Trump, he said. The revolution would be defended from these terrorists. His remarks followed by chants of "Death to America." It seems a major confrontation is on the way. Some of the biggest demonstrations have taken place here, in Mashhad, the city of Khamenei's birth. But the supreme leader is losing patience. Members of the regime are calling for a major crackdown. The protesters are waging war on God.
At the same time, there are credible reports of extreme violence being used against protesters. Eyewitnesses and medical staff describe mass casualties, with hospitals overwhelmed and shortages of surgeons. Live ammunition has reportedly been used extensively, including machine gun fire in some areas. Bodies are allegedly being removed from hospitals by authorities in an attempt to hide the scale of the killings. These tactics are not new. This is how the regime has survived past uprisings in 2009, 2019, and 2022. Each time, mass violence eventually crushed the movement. But this time appears different in one critical way. The protests are broader, more sustained, and more geographically widespread than ever before. Symbolism is also playing a major. Across multiple cities, protesters have been seen carrying the pre-1979 Iranian Lion and Sun flag. This flag has become a unifying symbol of rejection of clerical rule. Images of Reza Pahlavi have also appeared, reflecting a growing public debate about Iran's future and what might come after the Islamic Republic. While there is disagreement about how much support any one figure has, the key point is
they are going to do when they actually try to hide their brutality, the crime that they are committing against humanity. I've been now receiving some messages from people who are using Starlink, saying that numbers of people getting killed increasing. They see with their own eyes in the street that how people get shot to death. So that's why I even don't know what's going to happen to people who actually send me videos. The family members of those who have been killed, they are sending messages to people outside Iran and saying
that people are openly discussing alternatives, something that was unthinkable not long ago. Outside Iran, the unrest is reverberating globally. Iranian diaspora communities are staging demonstrations in major cities, including London, where protesters briefly entered the Iranian embassy compound and replaced the regime's flag with the historic Iranian flag. Embassies are considered sovereign territory, and scenes like this highlight how far the regime's authority has eroded, even beyond its borders. Meanwhile, Hackers claiming affiliation with Anonymous say they have breached regime systems and tracked the movement of Iran's supreme leader to a fortified location in the eastern part of the country. While these claims should always be treated cautiously, they align with other reports suggesting that top leadership is increasingly isolated and on the defensive. There are also indications that the regime may be seeking external assistance. Reports suggest that Iran has reached out to allied militias and foreign partners for support, a sign of desperation rather than strength. The so-called axis of resistance was designed to keep conflict away from Iran's borders, but now the crisis has reached the heart of the country itself. International reactions are also shifting. Statements from the United States signal close monitoring of the situation, with warnings that large-scale massacres could trigger serious consequences. While no foreign intervention has occurred, the tone is notably different from past uprisings, when the regime largely acted without fear of external response. Still, the danger is far from over. The regime retains heavy weapons, organized forces, and a long history of brutal repression. If the uprising is crushed, the aftermath could be devastating, with mass arrests, executions, and years of retaliation. Thousands have already been detained in recent months, and executions are ongoing. What makes this moment so critical is that the outcome is no longer predetermined. The regime is under unprecedented strain. Protesters are showing extraordinary resilience. Security forces are divided, and the world is watching more closely than ever before. History tells us that moments like this can end in liberation or in tragedy. Which path Iran takes will depend on decisions made in the coming days and hours, both inside the country and beyond its borders. We will continue to follow developments closely and bring you updates as they happen. Thank you for watching, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next update.